All right, let's bring in Fox News contributor and retired Marine bomb technician Joey Jones for more on his analysis. Joey, thanks for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Obviously, you served in Afghanistan. You were hit by a roadside bomb. You lost both of your legs. Just want to get your take on the mission and the war as you reflect back on it.
Yeah, you know, my injury was terrible, but I was there for 6 months before I was injured. And I think what really is so concerning to me about this is there an American who had more time to prepare for a strategy for Afghanistan than Joe Biden, a guy that was #2 in command for 8 years while we were there, a guy who was complicit in sending me to war in 2010, knowing they were going to announce a drawdown within a year and leave us kind of hanging there. And you know what? I forgave him for that, but now he's doing it all over again. He's leaving Americans at risk for what I believe to be a political, not a policy decision. And that's what's really just disheartening about this to me.
So help me unpack this, because a lot of Republicans supported Donald Trump when he said we should, take our troops out of Afghanistan. And he didn't actually get that done. He lost the election. And now you have Joe Biden, who's doing what Trump said. What's the difference?
That is the question that a lot of Americans are asking. And I'm glad they're asking the question, because I think between midterms and presidential elections for about 20 years, we haven't asked a lot of questions. We've kind of had a very populist view no matter who the president was. And the truth is, when President Trump announced that, I supported it in the context of either define our mission and goals and how we're going to achieve them, or bring our troops home. And I hoped that it resulted in defining our mission and goals and that we would have a path to achieve it. And towards the end of Trump's tenure, it looked that way. It looked like he had consulted with his military leadership and they had made actionable goals, contingencies that they felt like they could get the Taliban to ascribe to. At the end of the day, the most successful time we ever had in Afghanistan was in rural Helmand and places like that, where we brought forth tribal leaders. A lot of them were old mujahideen that were neither corrupt Afghani government nor Taliban, and the people respected those, and we invested in them, and they were successful. That takes the time, and that's a long-term strategy that probably never was going to last. But I believe Trump's strategy was more in line with that, to give the next generation of Afghanis a chance to look at the Taliban and say, that's not our best option. Now the Taliban's just going to create momentum, and people are going to run in fear, and that's exactly what the security force is doing.
So that's just an opposition to Biden saying, I set a timeline, and we're just going to get out the consequences be damned. That's not where Trump was when he said, let's bring our troops home.
I believe that the administration's position was not that. That might have actually been Trump's position, but I believe by the end of it, when they were executing it, it was much more than that.
So we spent trillions of dollars in Afghanistan, right? We've done infrastructure, roads and bridges and buildings. We've trained up their forces. We've lost, countless lives. A lot of Americans were injured, like yourself. What's the takeaway? What lessons should be learned from, what happened in Afghanistan and the amount of money and lives that were expended? And really, it looks like for what?
Yeah, I mean, my investment is I've got a couple of pounds of flesh over there pushing up poppies now as fertilizer, I guess. I mean, that's the truth. I left a lot of myself over there, and more importantly, I left some of my buddies there. I have a genuine interest in that country having a future. I really do. But at the end of the day, all that money we spent was for the purpose of our own national security. And for the past 20 years, we haven't had an attack on our homeland like we did on 9/11. And I'm going to hang my hat on that because, quite frankly, these politicians didn't give me anything else to hang my hat on, and I don't know what tomorrow holds. I hope that the American people see this and take note, because our country our government didn't learn in 40 years the lesson they should have learned in Vietnam, which is you can't have this unpopular war that you kind of console people with pushing troops and pulling back troops while also trying to covertly win it at the same time, or maybe even naively try to win it at the same time. You can't play both sides of the American people like that. And I hope our next generation of American government understands that, because this one did not.
Well, I want to tell you, you mentioned your buddies. As we now see the insurgents of the Taliban, they're taking over a lot of territory, a lot of big cities. What's the feeling of your friends who served in Afghanistan, all the work they put in over there to see it crumble so fast?
I'm on a text thread with men that are much more heroic than I could ever try to be. They truly were in the field longer, have taken apart thousands of bombs, and been a part of many wars. And the last thing I saw on that text thread before I walked up here was, I hope they don't pull me out of retirement to go fight this stupid war, and then a Rambo meme. And that's just kind of, they expected this as soon as this drawdown started. How do boots on the ground, mid-level enlisted Marines with a security clearance to do our job, but no one important in that case. How did we know the security force couldn't hold up, but the President of the United States, who spent 8 years as vice president during this war, didn't know it? That doesn't add up to me, and I have a lot of questions.
So, and to that point, we saw President Biden come out and say, listen, we for sure are going to, the government's going to be able to hold, and they've been well trained, and we spent a lot of money and years over there. The problem is this embarrassing for the American people and the American military to see that all the training and all the money we put in, that the government has collapsed in such short order.
If it's embarrassing, it's for individuals in leadership. It's definitely not embarrassing for us because anyone that ever fought us knew that if they came at us, we'd kill them, and we did. The problem is our tactics, procedures, things that politicians decide. Of course, that's embarrassing because we could have done so much better, and we didn't, and a lot of it because the tail was wagging the dog. We were afraid to set an actual policy or strategy because we wanted to win votes at home.
All right, I want to get your take on this. Arnold Schwarzenegger, take a look at his video when he talks about America and freedom.
People should know there is a virus here. It kills people, and the only way we prevent it is to get vaccinated, to wear masks, to do social distancing, washing your hands all the time, and not just to think about, well, my freedom is being kind of disturbed here. No, screw your freedom, because with freedom comes obligations and kind of responsibilities.
Troy, when I think of freedom, I think of men like you who have served and sacrificed to defend that freedom. What do you have to say to Arnold Schwarzenegger?
If that's what Californians know as a Republican, I probably understand more why they don't like Republicans so much out there anymore. That was a terrible thing to say. It was a stupid thing to say. I take more issue with Alexander Vindman, who's supposed to be this heroic person that wore the uniform, shaking his head yes at that. And I'll leave you with this because I don't have much else to say about Arnold. He posted a picture of Vindman and his brother. I didn't know Tweedledee and Tweedledum knew Conan the Barbarian. That makes quite a fairy tale right there.
Quite a fairy tale, and yeah, well said, Joy. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it, and I'm grateful for your service. Thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.